Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's SJK here, and today's a wrestling topic, and we're going to be discussing the first inductee into the 2018 WWE Hall of Fame, and the first inductee is Bill Goldberg, the man, the myth, the original beast. Goldberg. I think it's well deserved. I love Bill Goldberg. It's funny because I have a lot of wrestling buddies, or a lot of wrestling buddies back in the day. I have a lot of friends now that they don't like Bill Goldberg, and you go on forums and what have you, chats and all that stuff, and a lot of people think he's overrated and stuff, and they're entitled to their opinions and stuff. But I love Bill Goldberg. Goldberg, for me, is such a memorable character, such a memorable wrestler, such a memorable person off the screen as well. The man's been known, to be very charitable. He's been known to be a smart businessman when it comes to the handling um, of his character, the Bill Goldberg character. I love Bill because Bill, he's a type of wrestler that's in the same vein as a Ultimate Warrior, um, a Batista, where yeah, he's a powerhouse, but Ultimate Warrior looked good hitting people. He looked good pressing people over his head. He came out with such an intensity, running around the ring and shaking the ropes and doing these intense, nonsensical um, promos and stuff. But you believed that the man, you believed that Jim Hellwig was Ultimate Warrior when he was in full paint, and the camera was on. He was Ultimate Warrior. He wasn't Jim Hellwig. Like a lot of people say what they want about Warrior as well, but he always turned it on. You were getting Warrior. It wasn't going to be anything fancy. You were going to get this buff, intense man oozing of testosterone that was going to come down, just whoop butt, take names, look good, look convincing doing it, and then leave. Goldberg's in the same vein. Goldberg wasn't around long. He pretty much came out of nowhere. Simple dude. Black trunks. I think he's one of the first guys, not the first guy, but one of the first guys to use like those mixed martial arts striking gloves. Simple dude. Black trunks, black elbow pads, MMA gloves, and black short um, ankle boots, wrestling boots. Goatee, bald headed, body made out of granite. Like he was a chiseled, athletic dude. Like he captured the imaginations of thousands and millions, such as myself. Like when I was younger, um, Bill was walking, oozing testosterone. He was walking intimidation. It was just brilliant. His entrance, they would go knock on his door, and they would have like ten dudes like escort him to the ring, and then he gets to his pyro, and the pyro's like the freaking fireworks are going, and he's like standing there in the middle, and he breathes it in, and he spits out the smoke, and he's like swinging, and he's kicking and stuff, and that was intimidating. That was an amazing entrance. That alone made Bill Goldberg, and then to cap it off, he physically looked the look, 6'4", 280 pounds back in the day, just a freaking wall. And then he'd get in the ring and spear, jackhammer, or maybe 2, 3 power moves, spear, jackhammer. But he was so explosive, and any move that he did, it was different. Yes, there's been guys that have hit power slams on people before. Yes, there's been guys that have military pressed, gorilla pressed people over their head before and have slammed them. But there was something to when Goldberg would do it. Goldberg had a little extra snap, a little bit extra oomph to delivering these power moves. That made you believe that he was hitting them this much harder compared to another powerhouse before him. Like, go watch him press slam somebody and then go compare it to somebody else, like even Ultimate Warrior. Anything that Goldberg did, I know he didn't have like the most, like grandiose, extensive moveset. But he didn't have to. Like the very few moves that he did have, they looked convincing. He looked like he was actually hitting and striking people. And from what I've heard is because he liked to work stiff. He worked a very Japanese style. So, when he slammed someone, he looked like he was trying to hurt them. And he speared people. He looked like he was trying to kill them. And the jackhammer was just always brilliant, and it was always a neat treat to see the people that he'd pull it off on. Like, oh, can he jackhammer Bam Bam Bigelow? Can he jackhammer, the Big Show? Can he jackhammer Mark Henry? All those big guys, Ron Reese. Like, oh, like it was always a treat to see him lift these super heavyweights, hold them in the air, boom, drop them. Like, like he was. I always said that I felt like Goldberg was Brock Lesnar before Brock Lesnar. He was the original beast. And then not only that, I think Goldberg is just slightly a bit underrated. I know a lot of people like to use the word overrated for Bill Goldberg, but I feel like he's slightly underrated. He would use a knee bar. He would use, a cross arm bar. And he would do it from a standing position, or he'd mount you while you were on the ground, and he would do it proficiently. He was one of the fewer guys in the beginning that was using MMA holds and knew how to use them without insulting actual people that watch actual fighting. He made you believe in anything he did. He was one of the first guys that was like a striking MMA powerhouse hybrid. That was Goldberg. And it got fun to see him, like in his WWE run, in his late WCW, towards the end before he got hurt, to see him get innovative with his power moves. Gorilla press into a front slam, gorilla press into a power slam, gorilla press into a spine buster, a gorilla press into a fall away slam. Like, anything Bill did was like super convincing. A lot of times, a lot of people, like myself included, I think as a hardcore fan, we get wrapped up in work rate. And we forget memories. And you can say what you want about Bill Goldberg, but he made a long-lasting impression in his fans' minds and viewers like me. Like, you'll never forget the moment where he speared and he jackhammered the Giant. You'll never forget the moment where he had this amazing, his amazing match with Diamond Dallas Page. Goldberg as a character stood out, and his moments are what are remembered, not his matches. Like, everyone's always going to remember the night in the Georgia Dome where he beat Hulk Hogan. That was one of the brighter moments in WCW history before they buried him. Everyone's going to remember the iconic streak, his winning streak. And unfortunately, a lot of people are also going to remember the way they booked him to lose that by bullshit with the taser. People are going to remember that stuff. People are going to remember him spearing the crap out of The Rock. He's a very memorable character. And even his last run, even though it wasn't long, he had some memorable stuff. You know, like the shock and awe of him beating Brock Lesnar, and I think I forget how many seconds it was. Maybe it was 10 seconds or something like that. He beat Brock. That was a memory. It's a long-lasting memory, and he looked convincing doing it. And he left an amazing imprint in the last WrestleMania match that he had. Granted, he lost, but he had one of the most impactful, amazing 4-minute matches I've ever seen. So, bravo to Bill Goldberg. Congratulations to Bill Goldberg. Um, I'm super happy for Bill Goldberg. As a Goldberg fan, I love Bill. I appreciate him. And the only thing that's a bummer is I guess we're not going to see another match out of him. But whatever, I appreciate it. It's his work. If you like Bill Goldberg, let me know in the comment section. If you don't like Bill Goldberg, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you get notifications when my videos drop. And remember, no matter where you are, day, night, if you're at work, if you're at home, who knows? Remember to always smile. And I'll catch you guys later.